What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And for this one, man, I had a request from a couple of you guys asking me to do a follow-up video on the video that I did last week where I shared my opinion on some of the best farmable characters in the game. So for today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the best bio-selector characters currently available. Now, do not get this mixed up. We're not talking about the bio-selector characters that you get from the monthly subscription. I'm talking about the bio-selector characters that you can get for free in places like Shadowland. We're talking about the farmable bio-selector characters, okay? We're not talking about bio-subscription characters like Miguel O'Hara, Luna Snow, Carnage, and so on. We're not talking about those. We're talking about the ones that are readily available inside Shadowland selectors. And today I wanted to give you guys my opinion on the first 15, or at the very least, my opinion on the best 15 bio-selector characters currently in this game. So with that said, let's actually take a look at it. Now, right here, I have about 24 different characters that I think are usable for various different regions. However, from this list, I wanted to cut it down to 15 and share my opinion on which of them I think is the best. Now, keep in mind that some of them have their uniforms on, and that is how I will be evaluating them, because some of them would not be anywhere in this list if they did not have their uniforms on, because they're absolutely unusable otherwise. So with that said, guys, let's dive right into it. Now, coming in at number 15 for me has got to be my man Heimdall. Absolutely love the character, but I gotta be honest with myself, his DPS is not to the level where you can use him consistently in stuff like World Boss Ultimate or Extreme Alliance Battle. But if you're looking for a solid mid-tier universal character that will do well in Alliance Conquest, Shadowland, and even World Boss mode, the normal version, Heimdall is your guy. He has a nice mixture of iframes, and on top of that, he has a really useful guard right here and a really awesome debuff, which makes it so that whenever enemies are attacking him, there's a 45% chance their attacks will miss. So Heimdall is a very solid pickup, and I stand by that decision. Gotta be on any list for me. Heimdall, very good character. Now, coming in at number 14 for me is another character that I absolutely adore in this game, but I gotta be honest with myself, similar to Heimdall, she just does not have the kind of high level of DPS that we need for World Boss Ultimate and Extreme Alliance Battle, but she's a very good character for Alliance Conquest, Battle World, and she's really good for Shadowland, and she's very good for the normal World Boss mode as well, and that's got to be Silk. Uniform is not required, but I absolutely love the uniform. It looks phenomenal, and on top of that, it makes her a really powerful character in PvP because it gives her additional web time. It also changes one of her skills, which gives her a little bit more DPS, but overall Silk is truly amazing with the crowd control, the guard, and she has an iframe as well. Absolutely love this skill right here, ripping people to shreds. She also has a really amazing tier 2 passive. So number 14 on this list for me has to be Silk. Number 13, I have to put her a little bit higher than Silk because she's so freaking good. Amazing leadership, damage block, iframes, good crowd control, has to be Medusa. One of the best starter characters you can pick up in this game. If you're coming to this game right now, she should definitely be, I would say, in your top 5 as a starter character because she is a truly amazing and very useful leadership, okay, as you guys can see right here. And on top of that, she has damage block in her kit, couple iframes, and really good crowd control. Similar to the other characters, she's going to be good for World Boss Normal. She's going to be good for stuff like Alliance Conquest and very good for Shadowland. So I have to put Medusa here, and she's holding down that 13th spot very comfortably. Number 12 for me is very similar to Medusa. That is actually Titania. Another character that I highly recommend if you're new to this game. Should definitely be among the first 5 characters you pick up when you're developing your roster. She has a nice mixture of iframes, damage block. She even gets a heal when you get her to tier 2, and she has one of the best leaderships in the game. An amazing standalone character, but a very good and very powerful leader as well. So number 12 on this list has to be Titania for me, okay? Now, coming in at number 11 for me, guys, this may be a little bit controversial here, and that's completely fine. This is just my personal list, so keep that in mind. This one is actually going to be Red Hulk. Now, keep in mind that Red Hulk without this uniform is only useful for his leadership, so keep that in mind. But with this uniform, I think he's actually a very formidable character. He's rocking 2 heals, one from his uniform, one from his 4-star passive. He's rocking damage immunity, and on top of that, he has respectable DPS, but he also has one of the best elemental leaderships in the game, which he can use to buff himself, Jean Grey, Dormammu, Robbie Reyes, Hellstorm, Inferno, among others. So definitely a really good character for you to pick up early on. So I gotta give him the spot right here, but keep in mind, this spot is only being given to him if you have this particular uniform, okay? And number 10 for me, guys, has got to be one of the easiest characters in this game to use. If you bring her in a game mode, PvP or PvE, where the enemy does not have debuff removal, they're in a whole lot of trouble, and you're gonna get yourself, in most cases, a very, very easy win. And that is actually going to be Mantis. She has an amazing mixture of iframes and a very, very powerful heal. On top of that, this 5 skill right here giving you 3 seconds of fear. But to be honest with you, this fear is basically an indefinite fear if you can keep the enemy close to Mantis at all times. Like seriously, this skill is one of the most powerful skills in the game, and if Mantis had more DPS, you would be seeing her everywhere. Honestly, she's truly a phenomenal character, and in most cases, you will get yourself a very, very easy win. Shadowland, or even if you bring her in timeline battle and the character you're going up against does not have debuff removal, they're in a whole lot of trouble if you can get off that 5 skill early on in the fight. Seriously, she will just slowly pick them apart unless they have some crazy amount of heals to keep up with her, because you're going to fear them, jump into iframes, and heal as well. So it's just amazing and very, very fun to play Mantis. Absolutely love her. Number 9 on this list is actually going to be Scourge the Executioner, because he's a very, very useful combat supervillain that you can use consistently in ABX very early on if you don't have the likes of Carnage and Apocalypse. That is the number 1 reason why this guy is such a high priority on this list and why I gave him the number 9 spot. But he has a really good DPS, and once you get into tier 2, he also has a very, very powerful tier 2 passive, giving him 5 seconds of invincibility to go along with some crowd control in the form of stuns, and on top of that, he has a couple different iframes as well. At tier 1, you won't see much value in the character, but once you get into tier 2, he actually definitely makes up for that. So, gotta give him a number 9 spot on this list for me. And number 8 on this list for me, guys, has got to be one of my favorite universal characters currently in this game, and that's actually going to be Robbie Reyes. Absolutely love Robbie Reyes. When I use him, it just feels like I'm using a speed character. Super fun to play. Love watching him fly around the map. In his kit, he's rocking multiple different iframes and a guard, and he also has a really cool leadership. Absolutely love Robbie. The only place I have not been able to use him to get anything done, and that's actually World Boss Ultimate. Everywhere else, he's actually really good, but I would say ideally keep him out of timeline battle, even though he's actually immune to fire damage, so he could, in most cases, help you get a win against Jean Grey. In most cases, you should ideally not put him up against Jean, because Jean is just incredibly powerful, okay? But I gotta give it to him. Number 8 spot, my main man, Robbie Reyes. Number 7 on this list, a character that can be used as a standalone character in a lot of different game modes. However, I would say keep him out of the PvP aspects of the game, but he definitely has a lot of value in PvE for both his overall usability as a DPS character and as a support type. So I gotta give it to him, man. Claw, a character that came in this game and everyone, myself included, expected him to be complete garbage, but he's actually an amazing character. Multiple different iframes, respectable DPS, an amazing tier 2 passive that you can use to buff people on your team, giving them a lot of crit damage as well. Absolutely love him. I've actually been able to use him even at tier 1 to complete ABX, okay? Absolutely love this guy. Can give you over 100k early on, even at tier 1 with crappy cards like I have. Gotta love him, man. He's actually really, really good for the PvE aspect of this game. Keep him out of PvP, but everywhere else, he's really, really good. And because he has, like I said, a team passive that can buff your other characters, even when you need someone on your team just to give you a little bit more DPS to your main guy, you can use him as well. So gotta give it to him. Claw, very solid pickup. Came in this game when I expected nothing and got a whole lot when I developed him. And for the number 6 spot, character that absolutely positively needs his uniform to make this list. Without it, you cannot get anything done with him. I cannot stress that enough. And that's actually going to be this little bastard right here. Everybody's favorite rabbit, okay? Absolutely love Rocket Raccoon in this uniform. He is truly phenomenal. Extremely high DPS, a very, very powerful freaking 5 skill right here with 6 seconds of damage immunity, a long iframe on the 5th. He has a crowd control on the freaking 3rd right here. He has a guard which is not showing on the 2nd. It's just truly amazing to use him. The uniform bonus itself is actually really good as well. 25% increase to all attack. Like Rocket is actually a beast in this uniform. These other 2 uniforms are absolute crap, so do not buy them. The only reason you should be building this guy is if you plan to pick up his Infinity War uniform. Number 5 for me, guys, same thing. I'm going to say it again. Without a uniform, this guy is not good for anything besides his leadership, okay? Number 5 for me, Mr. I have a plan. And in this uniform, the plan is actually a good one, boys. Star-Lord is actually a freaking beast in this uniform. Absolutely love freaking Star-Lord. Super fun to play. The 5 skill is still a little bit of a nuisance because you can take some damage before you get into that iframe, but it actually has a very, very good DPS. Absolutely love the new 4 skill. It's so amazing to watch it play out, and it is a respectable amount of damage. 3rd skill, you get to summon Doctor Strange and just dance around the enemy. Truly amazing. 2 skill is actually an iframe as well. The 1 skill is decent for stuff like Shadowland, but in most cases, you can just go 5, 4, 3 and then go right back into 5 and you're good to go, and you get an incredible amount of DPS out of this guy in this uniform. Uniform is actually buffing his leadership as well, up to 50%. So not only does his leadership get better, his overall kit gets better, and his DPS is actually fixed in this uniform, okay? This is the best uniform for Star-Lord. His previous uniform, this one right here, is actually decent and it makes him playable. If you have the base, he's only a leadership. But I would say if you can, save your crystals and just pick this one up and save yourself a lot of heartache, because he's actually going to be incredibly powerful in this uniform. Number 4 on this list, super tanky, but similar to what I said to the previous characters, without a uniform, he's not good for much. He's slightly better than the others, but not good for much. Gotta give it to him. Hulkbuster. Truly a Hulkbuster in this uniform. Super tanky. A nice mixture of iframes. He has a guard in this freaking uniform. On top of that, he has a heal and multiple ways to crowd control the enemy. Absolutely love Hulkbuster on this list. Gotta give him the number 4 spot. Some of you guys may argue that, but I cannot. Hulkbuster is a freaking beast. Super tanky, very easy to use. His DPS may be a little bit lower overall than someone like Star-Lord, but because he has that heal, you can make a whole lot more mistakes with someone like him and not get punished too much for it because of the fact that he actually has damage block, iframes, and a heal, right? And on top of that, he has a guard as well. So gotta give him the number 4 spot, just ahead of Star-Lord and Rocket. And number 3 on this list, absolutely positively must have this uniform. Without this uniform, he's not good for anything besides his 30% physical attack leadership. And some of you guys may disagree with where I put him, but I still personally think he's just a little bit better overall than Hulkbuster. And that's actually the Hulk. I may be a little bit biased because I'm a big Hulk fan, but I still think the Hulk has a little bit more value in the end game content than Hulkbuster. It's really close. It's not a huge gap between the two, but I think Hulk wins, okay? Passive healing, which is great. On top of that, damage immunity, couple different iframes, really good. In some instances, you can argue that Hulkbuster is better because he has multi-hitting skills. So when you go up against people who have a lot of dodge in your kit, Hulk may lose to Hulkbuster, but otherwise, Hulk has him beat with just raw DPS, okay? It's close between the two, but I gotta give it to Hulk as of right now. Some of you guys may disagree. That's completely fine, okay? Number 2 on this list, I don't think anyone can argue with the value of this character. She should be among the first 3 characters you decide to work on when you start playing this game. Uniform not required, but is highly recommended, okay? Number 2 on this list, without a doubt in my mind, actually has to go to Shuri. And I really heavily considered putting her in the number 1 spot because of the fact that overall she's an amazing standalone character, very good DPS, very good survivability, 7 seconds of damage immunity. The longest amount of immunity currently in the game is actually 7 seconds. Only few characters have this. She's one of them. On top of that, she has a long iframe on the fort, very good 4-star passive, extremely tanky 3-star skill right here, giving her 70% damage reduction, which you can keep up virtually all the time with max skill cooldown. Shuri is just truly phenomenal as a standalone character, but on top of that, the Panther God's protection. This right here, man, making her an invaluable asset for World Boss Ultimate. This is why I highly considered giving her the number 1 spot. And I don't think many people could argue this because she's a staple in virtually all of the endgame content right now. You use her basically every week in ABX, use her basically every day for World Boss Ultimate, and I see people even using her in PvP to get a hand up on other people who like to use a lot of super villains. So absolutely have to put Shuri in the number 2 spot, and I really highly debated with myself about giving her the number 1 spot right here, especially because of that tier 2 passive. But number 1 has to go to my girl and everyone's favorite, Sharon freaking Rogers, okay? The first character you should build in this game. Extremely tanky because of her tier 2 passive, and overall she has amazing survivability and extremely high DPS. In this uniform, she is truly phenomenal. Similar to Shuri, she doesn't need the uniform to be great, but with the uniform, she becomes even more of a monster. Honestly, playing her with this uniform and playing her without the uniform, you feel like you're playing 2 completely different characters, but both are truly phenomenal, okay? But that is how I'm going to end this list, guys. These are my top 15 best free-to-play friendly bio-selector characters. Leave your list in the comments, and that is all I have to share for this one, guys. Like always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace and love. Still love Shirag, man. Still a beast. God damn.